They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
chaos,
let that chaos reign with
chaos,
let that chaos reign with
chaos,
let that chaos reign with
must reign.
All right. Yes. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another edition, another stream, another podcast, another live stream here on the Chaos Reign Show. I am Chaos Reign. And today, stream, there's some interesting thing going onward in the east, far out in the east. Nor are we here in the west where the sun sets, where the sun sets, but in the east the sun rises. It's very fitting if you think about it. So today we're gonna look at some videos, give some commentary of what's going on in the Far East, and my perspective of all this is we're in the coming of times where modern women, no matter where you are in the world, whether you're far in the West Coast, East Coast, or other parts of the globe, other countries, still modern women want to have it all. They want to have the money, they want to have the lifestyle, the luxury, and they want to have the penis, or what we like to call the phallus, all in one. And they can't everything, they don't want nothing to do with it, in my opinion. But you guys be judge of this. So no further ado. For those that are subscribed to the channel, welcome to the Chaos Reign Show. Oh, and for those that want to subscribe, you hit the red button and the top notification bell for all uploads, live streams here on the Chaos Reign Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Reign. Chaos Reign 7. Facebook, Eric Reign on Facebook. Follow me on Rumble, CRain23 on Rumble. Also join my Discord service as well. And last but not least, become a member of the Chaos Reign Show as well. Like I said, membership perks. So before I begin, I'm making sure I'm doing housekeeping. Welcome everybody that's watching in, listening in. What's good? And I'm making sure everything is set up. Looks like I got all my files ready. So before I begin, let me do this one last thing. Before I begin, I just gotta check something out. 1 second. I'm just checking something right now, guys. Hold on. Okay, looks like everything is good on my end. I can hear myself, so that's a good sign. And if I didn't put the description, I'll put it in the chat. Not in chat room. I'll put it in the description of where to find me. All right, so let's begin. We're going to start with the laws that's present in China. Not the one that you see lately on social media. This one was come around a few months in advance that has already been implemented for those that don't know. Let's go. Fair use.
Get married. It's that people born after 1980. Right now, what scares me the most isn't that people born in the 90s won't have children, or that those born in the 2000s won't get married. It's that people born after 1980 are even supporting their children's choice not to marry or have kids. Especially since the new marriage law came out, more people are choosing not to get married or have children. Can you believe it? In the future, no matter how well a woman cleans, cooks, or takes care of the kids, if she doesn't earn money herself, she will end up with nothing after a divorce. This is because the new marriage law protects personal property. If you didn't earn the money, you won't get a penny of it.
Now, as you know, the marriage laws right now, as it states, that a lot of women are frustrated, and you can see it throughout all social media if you really look in what's going on outside this Western Hemisphere. that a lot of women, especially in China, are very angry of these laws because it infringe on their, I guess, little autonomy and freedom that they want to be able to do what they want as they please with their own men, which I find very ironic, especially their housewives and they wanted the money, the allowance, everything, especially their kids. And really truly, I think because they're getting divorced at a very alarming rate, which the next video I will show goes more detail to this. A lot of the Asian men in China especially have wised up. Now a lot of people say they probably gotten more dose of the little pills, blue, red, green, purple pill here in the West, and they started to really man up and decide to say we're just not going to deal with these chicks, and they eventually decided to go elsewhere to find women, in my opinion. And the consequence of this, a lot of women are going to be, not having no bag to hold, unfortunately. So let's listen more to this. Very serious. Let's go.
On February 1st, China's Supreme Court introduced the second judicial interpretation on marriage and family in the Civil Code, known as Marriage 2. On Chinese social media, many people say that Marriage 2 is forcing women to wake up. They argue that the person who earns money gets the protection, that full-time housewives deserve to be treated like workhorses for men, that housework is seen as free labor, and that women cannot expect any compensation for the toll on their health from childbirth. The clickbait headlines have attracted a lot of attention, but they hide a much more complicated and absurd reality. This legal reform is not a savior for anyone, nor is it the end of the world. Instead, it reflects the deep social conflicts and political control in China, showing how the government uses the law to cover up social problems and strengthen its grip.
新婚姻解释就是在坑女人。
Article 5 and 8 of Marriage 2 state that whether a house is given by the man to the woman or bought with money from the man's parents, even if the woman's name is on the deed, it can still be awarded to the man. In other words, no matter if the house was bought before or after the marriage, having your name on the property deed doesn't guarantee that you'll get it in a divorce. As long as you paid for it, the house will be yours. That sounds great, especially in a country where it takes the savings of 2 generations to buy a home. But in reality, it's not that simple.
你怎么不提第5条第1款？
Why don't they mention the first clause of Article 5? With a prenuptial or postnuptial agreement, even if the woman's name isn't on the house, the property might still be awarded to her. And why don't they talk about the second clause of Article 5? It explains under what conditions a man can take back a house he gave to the woman. For example, if you have a quick marriage and a quick divorce and the man is not at fault, the court will still consider factors like the length of the marriage, whether you had a child, fault, and each partner's contribution to the family. In such cases, the man may be required to compensate the woman. The same logic of
I liking that. Don't y'all? You walk in, you walk out with nothing. The man's one that's paying everything, which last time I checked, most women are married to men that really makes more, earns more, and pays more. It looks like they are able to hold their wallets. Not the bag, but they don't have to really give back or pull out their wallet for their now divorced wife. Very interesting. Let's go.
applies if the house was bought with money from the man's parents. The court will look at whether you had children and your contribution to the family. For those who say that women are being taken advantage of when doing housework and that any loss from childbirth cannot be compensated, Article 21 clearly states that if a woman stays at home to take care of the children, does the housework, and even helps her husband with his work, the court will calculate compensation based on the time and effort invested and its impact, using the local average disposable income. This means that the invisible contributions of full-time housewives are finally being recognized as measurable economic value.
Moreover, after this reform, there is no cap on the compensation amount. It depends on the local income level and the family's financial situation. In wealthier families, housework is considered more valuable, and the compensation awarded in a divorce could be surprisingly high. Take the case in Shanghai, for example. A man took out a 10 million yuan loan before marriage to buy a house. When they divorced, the house went to him, but because the woman stayed home full-time for 8 years to take care of their child, the court ordered a 5 million yuan compensation in her favor. The man kept the house but ended up emptying his savings. If he didn't have cash, the house might have to be sold. With the current weak real estate market, it might not sell for a good price, and in the end, the man could be left in debt, while the woman leaves with money. The clauses are written clearly, But most people don't read them carefully. They prefer to listen to oversimplified summaries, which leads to misleading interpretations from the start. Marriage 2 clearly shows a bias in favor of women. Its root lies in Article 1087 of the Civil Code, which states that in dividing marital property after divorce, priority is given to the children, then to the woman, then to the faultless party, with the woman even taking precedence over the faultless party. Why? Because the government doesn't care about who is right or wrong. What it fears is that women, after a divorce, might be left without money or skills, turning them into a potential social bomb. As a result, men are forced to pay a youth loss fee, and even the property of their parents might be divided by the judge under various pretexts.
And one thing about this, guys, and let's keep in mind, all right, that law should be, in any form of government law, if we talk law of the land, it should be even where both parties are satisfied. Unlike America, there's no really even exchange of law, regardless they have prenuptial agreement. I mean, I heard some men that have prenups and then work in their favor, maybe because there's kids involved or some infidelity. Whatever the case may be, these laws here in America are just as bad. But imagine living in China, where now they, because run by the men, especially the president himself, Xi Jinping, I think his name, that they still put favor of the men because they need the men to be still functioning and still participate in the society. And you're not gonna get that if a lot of men start to bow out, because let's be honest, let's be very honest. Women are going to gain more for really, and I mean really, sincerely, doing less. All right, let's keep going. Various.
For instance, in one case, a family with assets of only 300,000 yuan ended up with a woman being awarded 500,000 yuan. The judge simply extracted a childbirth fee from her in-laws' 700,000 yuan house. Just because the house is in his parents' name doesn't make it safe. These moves may be legal, but they're shameless. The government's so-called protection of the weak simply shifts the welfare that should be provided by the state onto individuals. Some people claim that the fact that the property goes to the one who paid for it solves the problem of scam marriages. While that does play a part, the real reason is that judges have always ruled on the idea that a man's money should make up for the woman's share. This isn't the judge's own choice, it's a requirement from above. For several years, cases have been decided this way, and the new law simply gives judges cover so they don't have to take the blame. With more people resisting, some judges have even lost their lives because of it. The new rules merely put those unspoken practices on the table. The 2013 case of Li Dashan in Beijing is a clear example. In Changping, Beijing, there were more than 40 houses on rural land, with the affordable houses valued at 1.96 million and the welfare houses at 1.28 million. After the divorce, his ex-wife took all of the affordable houses, barely leaving him with barely over 10,000 in compensation. It was outrageous, but completely legal. The case was handled by the well-known judge Ma Caiyun, who was later killed in 2016 as a result of extreme backlash from such rulings. Instead of rethinking these decisions,
God damn, you tell me they took out the judge because he's trying to put in favor to help balance out the power between men and women? God damn, that's so wicked. Oh, man. I know how you guys live in China, man. I just don't understand how y'all live there, man. It seemed like modern slavery down there, man. And not saying America's no different or more safer. Hey, what's good, Miss O? But really, truly, I don't know how y'all guys do it personally. Oh, as you guys come in, please give this video a like. Likes are free. I sure appreciate if you guys like the stream. It won't hurt much just to press the like button, feel me? But, like I said, let's keep going. Fair use.
the authorities have now enshrined the bias in the new Marriage 2 rules to protect judges from criticism. Fairness in individual cases simply does not exist. Stability is the top priority. The CCP's laws have never been about true justice. Judges' so-called discretionary power is just a mask for political will. Although the clause, "the property goes to the one who paid," sounds appealing, in order to ensure the woman's future, the court will still take away the man's premarital assets and even his parents' money. With Social Security unable to help these women, the ex-husband ends up carrying the burden. In first-tier cities, especially in places like Beijing where property is worth millions, middle
I didn't know Chinese had Social Security. That's some new information. Interesting. Interesting. I might have to fact check that, but I think if they do have it, that's good. All right, let's keep going. Very serious, and hit the like button.
Class families have long been targeted. Now, even liberal arts graduates from top universities find it hard to secure jobs, and marrying into a wealthy family has become a shortcut. In divorce, these women use claims like lost youth and household contributions to get more money. There are even online posts teaching people how to profit from divorce. For many middle-class families, while the older generation saved enough to buy several houses, the next generation might not be able to earn enough to protect that wealth, making them the perfect target.
The new rules set guidelines of betrothal gifts and infidelity. Betrothal gifts go to the woman, and if one partner is unfaithful, they get a smaller share of the property. Any gifts given to a mistress must be reclaimed. This means that even without divorce, property can be divided during the marriage, and if a divorce happens, the husband might receive little or nothing. For the wealthy, this means both the wife and the mistress could end up taking money.
In fact, this makes divorce cases as unpredictable as Schrodinger's cat. Until the verdict is announced, no one knows how much they will lose, and in reality, divorce costs for the rich have increased dramatically. A new trend has emerged online. Since women no longer care only about houses, they now focus on a man's height, looks, intelligence, and emotional skills. What used to be a marriage secured by owning a house now demands you to be over 180 centimeters tall, have an 8-pack, and even know how to speak romantically.
What the is this, man? Hold on. So instead of being functioning and have everything like, at least a crib and a car, now you're expecting a man to look like a super buff athlete. Eight packs are for people that are buff, that are doing some, intense workouts, intense activities. If that's what Chinese women are looking for, especially the height, 1 point some centimeters, what's that? That's like 5'10", 5'11". I'm not sure how tall that is, man. I think a lot of people in Asia, especially Chinese women, they watch so much American stuff, in my opinion. Because where do they get this mindset from? Where the hell do they get this mindset from? You need an 8-pack and a tall dude. I mean, come on. Anybody know where this mindset come from? I'm curious. Anybody know? Leave it in the chat room or leave it in the comment section, wherever. Oh, and please support the channel. Let's go.
Otherwise, no one will be interested. Some people think that these new rules will make Chinese people marry for love like those in developed Western countries. But in developed countries, low divorce rates aren't because the laws are amazing, but because the social safety nets are strong enough to allow marriages to be driven by emotion. In China, if a woman leaves her job to stay at home and finds herself with no means after a divorce, marriage becomes a battleground of interests rather than one based on love. In reality, asking for a house when getting married doesn't mean that the woman is trying to scam the man, and not every man who depends on his partner is deceitful. Some people simply want economic security or want to contribute through housework and childcare, efforts that are just as valuable. The new rules on household compensation protect these contributions and show that society is slowly recognizing the importance of this work. The real shock of China's new marriage law isn't found in the sensational headlines. The truth is that the government is trying to maintain social stability. One of the most common problems in divorces is the snatching and hiding of minor children.
Article 12 and 13 of Marriage 2 makes it clear, whoever takes the children loses. Whoever plans to take the kids away loses. It's meant to discourage men from taking their kids.
It's a bit stricter than before, but it's still just a cosmetic fix to cover up what has always been a top-down mandate, not to move towards real fairness. If this new rule were truly biased against Chinese women in favor of men, then the top tier of Chinese feminists, the so-called T0 group, would have already taken to the internet with massive outcry, condemning this judicial interpretation in every possible way. These T0 women are not ordinary internet users. They're outspoken, well-organized activists on platforms like Weibo, Xiaohongshu, and Douban, known for.
I'm not sure what those platforms mean or what they'll do, but it looks like something that is very catchy on social media. I hope it's not like that love and hip-hop type nonsense going on in China in those type of platforms. I'm praying it does. I'm praying it does not. Anyhow, let's go.
Quickly turning any gender issue into a major online storm. Yet right now, the online scene is surprisingly calm. There are no trending topics or overwhelming debates, only a few scattered complaints. This unusual quiet suggests that they do not see marriage too as a monster at all. They may even have found parts of the law that benefit them. The T-Zeros have obviously seen that marriage too has not completely tilted to one side, so they are neither furious nor excited, but are just calmly weighing the chips they can still get. Why did the CCP launch this move in 2025? The answer lies in three factors: population, economy, and geopolitics. China is facing a severe population crisis, with the labor force expected to drop below 900 million by 2030. This trend poses a huge threat to both the economy and social stability. In the past, a woman's role in marriage was often seen as that of a housewife who depended on her husband's income and property as a safety net. But with a labor shortage, that model can no longer stand. The new rules change how property is divided in a divorce, weakening that safety net. For example, the division of property is now much stricter for the partner who does not work. This is designed to force women into the labor market. Without the security of property, they must work to gain economic independence and help fill the labor gap. At the same time, the rule aims to reshape family roles. The traditional model, where the man is the main breadwinner, is being replaced by a system where both partners contribute. Under this new system, marriage is no longer just an emotional bond. It becomes a functional contract meant to serve economic transformation and social stability. The CCP hopes that by reshaping the family structure, it can ease economic pressures and keep domestic affairs stable amid the broader US-China competition.
Now, do you guys agree with these type of laws that it's gonna really bring real stability back in the I guess China is an overpopulated / thriving economy? Because if you force a woman to not be a housewife and go to work, or else if your husband doesn't like it, he'll divorce you and you go with nothing, then it puts more pressure on these modern Western Asian women in China to really play their role. If you want to be a housewife, full-time basics, and live by the man's means, because that's how it should be done. Last time I checked, that's how it should be done. Well, we all know most women nowadays, they want to have it all. So, they want to take your wallet, have the kids, still be compensated, regardless if they're pregnant or not. They want somebody to fit the bill. And the government, the state itself said, if you decide to go this route, we're going to give more power to this man to eventually end the marriage, and you walk with nothing. God damn, that's a lot of pressure, man. That is some serious, serious pressure right there. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
First, marriage too appears to simply regulate marriage, but its true purpose is to reinforce the social structure. The family is seen as a stabilizer. If couples work together to tackle economic challenges, social divides will lessen. But if marriages break apart, social instability could worsen. In this view, marriage is not just a personal choice, it's given a national mission, becoming part of a larger geopolitical game. Marriage is no longer seen as a necessity in life, but as a kind of business deal that requires weighing benefits against risks. In the past, men held an advantage in the marriage market because of assets like property and cars, but the new rules diminish the value of property. Today, emotional value, social connections, height, intelligence, and similar traits have become the new assets. Men who lack these advantages might be edged out of the marriage market, and the survival space for some 30 million bachelors may shrink even further. On the other hand, highly educated women can thrive under these new rules, enjoying economic independence and legal protection, and may even use these functional marriages to climb the social ladder. However, women who rely on marriage to change their fortunes face even greater risks. Prenuptial agreements, choosing not to have children, and open relationships are gradually becoming more common. Marriage is no longer a lifelong commitment, but a customizable contract. The rise of the single economy is another major development. Products and services like mini appliances, single-serving meals, and AI companions are quickly becoming popular.
In other words, you're going to become a weirdo with this new type of rise. You're not going to interact with the opposite sex. You're going to interact with artificial intelligence. A bot. Images. Hell, a holographic image of someone that is not real. And you're going to treat it as a real living thing. God damn, this world is going to hell. I don't know if I want to live in that world where I just don't talk to no woman. I want to be back on a computer screen talking to some artificial intelligence image. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I don't know if you guys would want that. I wouldn't want that personally, but anyhow, let's go.
People are starting to redefine what happiness and success mean, moving away from the traditional family model. In the end, these new rules tear away the warm sentimental view of marriage and reveal its true functional and utilitarian nature. This brings us to a deeper question. With the old rules thrown out, it's time for everyone to redefine the source of their own happiness, whether through career success, personal growth, or exploring diverse lifestyles.
Okay, I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. All right. So that is the laws that a lot of people did not really cover the details to talk about. This is with a video that covers all that. All right. And another thing I want to tell people, I do got a new soundbite for anybody that contributes 25 or more in donations to the Chaos Rain Show. If you want to see or hear it, hit the super chat or Cash App or 20 or more, and you'll see the new soundbite. Next video is we're gonna deal with the high divorce rates in China, which needs to be examined. The actual divorce rates. So no further ado, let's go. Fairies.
It also has one of the highest divorce rates globally.
中国的女光棍啊，是世界最多的。
China has the highest number of single women in the world. It also has one of the highest divorce rates globally. In most cases, divorces are initiated by women. Nowhere else do women look down on men as much as in China. Nowhere else do women demand such high bride prices. Nowhere else do so many women abandon their husbands and children. Nowhere else do so many divorced women seek welfare partners. And most of them don't succeed. What's the reason behind this, friends? There's only one reason. Chinese women have been consuming too much toxic positivity advice. They've been told that men should earn money while women should focus on looking beautiful. That men struggle to find wives, but women never have trouble finding husbands. This so-called wisdom has left women dazed, confused and disoriented. Completely lost and disoriented. This elderly man's remarks may be extreme, but real-life cases do support some of his views. In January 2025, an online court trial video sparked widespread controversy across the Chinese internet.
As a father, you've never called your child, never cared about her life, never taken responsibility for their education. You haven't even made a single phone call in a year. You've deprived my child of a...
Well, that's gonna happen, baby. If your man does not really care about you and that child, he will leave you and make you a bastard, and your child will be a bastard to him, and thus force the single motherhood is created, particularly in China. Because China men are very ruthless when it comes to the relationship aspects. They don't play around. They don't play around, people. I hear a lot of women, especially sisters, talking about say they're gonna date an Asian man. Oh, you don't want that, baby. You definitely don't want that. That's for sure. All right, let's keep going. Various.
Father's love. You've taken no responsibility for this family, not even a cent as a father. You've never cared about your child's life or education.
In the 7.5-minute courtroom video, nearly 7 minutes were filled with the plaintiff, Yan Dongping, voicing her accusations. To any observer, she appeared to be a deeply wounded wife, an abandoned mother, while her husband was seemingly an irresponsible man. But a single statement from her husband, Sheng Zhubao, shattered the entire performance. I was working in Beijing. I gave you all my money without keeping a single cent for myself. Finally, the judge delivered the verdict. The couple's joint property, a car, is awarded to the plaintiff, Yan Dongping. At that moment, before the camera was turned off, Yan Dongping turned her head and smiled. A smile filled with an indescribable sense of sweetness and triumph.
No, that smile is worse. It's the smile of the devil, of sheer evil and happiness. To know saying, I took my former husband to the cleaners, and once they close the laptop and they sit there, compose themselves, and they make the fake tears like most of them do, they'll smile in the background and saying, yes, I got this. You feel me? Boy, these women are wicked. Look at that wickedness. Look at that wicked smile. Look at it. Look at it. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's continue. Let's continue with this.
To many viewers, it felt as if she was looking at someone she truly loved. This scene deeply wounded her weary and honest husband, who quietly wiped away the tears at the corner of his eyes. This scene didn't just wound her husband, it struck a nerve with every viewer watching. And so, what people jokingly called the first world-famous painting of 2025, Yan Dongping's smile, was born, ultimately making her the target of online outrage. As the controversy grew, the truth began to surface. When the couple first went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize their divorce, they were required to undergo a 1-month cooling-off period, a policy introduced under China's 2021 marriage law intended to promote marital stability. But in Miss Yan's case, that month became the perfect opportunity for her to execute a carefully planned strategy. Under the pretense of achieving financial independence through an online store, she escalated her demands, stripping the father of visitation rights and even insisting that their daughter change her surname, severing all ties between them. People quickly exposed the so-called financial independence as nothing more than a sham. Miss Yan's online store was merely a business license on paper, with little to no actual revenue. The family's middle-class lifestyle, owning a home and a car in a third or fourth-tier city, was entirely built on years of her husband's hard-earned wages from working in the big city. This divorce case ignited a firestorm online, striking at a painful reality in China's urbanization process. Millions of left-behind families follow the same survival model, husbands working in distant cities while wives stay behind to raise children. In truth, this phenomenon stems from deeper systemic issues, including the household registration system and unequal distribution of educational resources. For many migrant workers in similar situations, the Yan case served as a wake-up call, highlighting the risks they too might one day face. The most troubling part is that the betrayer pays no price. In recent years, with the economic fallout from the pandemic, many men lost their jobs or suffered business failures. In almost every case, it was the women who quickly filed for divorce, often walking away with whatever little assets remained. For many men, marriage has reduced them to mere providers, financial tools discarded with no fair outcome. This has fueled growing anxiety among young men about marriage. Statistics show that over 40% of men born in the 90s and 2000s now express a fear of marriage. Cases like Yan's only deepen this fear, and she is far from an isolated example. People have responded with bitter laughter, saying that with a single smile, Yan has pushed China's record-low marriage rate even lower. No one knows exactly who that smile was meant for, but one thing is clear. It has left many men terrified. Terrified of walking away from a marriage with nothing. Terrified that one day their own wives might flash a Yan-style smile. Scrolling through social media, it's easy to find boastful statements like, "I can drive, I can earn money, I can cook, so why do I need a man?" This certainly reflects women's independence. But the way it's framed is a classic example of toxic positivity rhetoric, one that exposes the distorted gender perceptions shaped by the CCP state system. While official media promotes gender equality on the surface, it simultaneously allows various independent social media platforms to spread extreme feminist narratives. This false notion of women's liberation is, in reality, a betrayal of genuine gender equality. Is finding a partner only about having someone who can cook, earn money, and drive? Relationships are built on emotional connection, mutual understanding, and growing together. Things that shouldn't be overlooked. True independence should empower people to choose meaningful relationships rather than dismissing the value of companionship. Are material possessions like luxury homes and cars the ultimate measure of success? Placing too much emphasis on material wealth may reflect.
Sorry about that, guys. Make sure you guys hit like button, share the stream. Share the stream. Let me see if any activity in the chat room. No, everybody's watching. Making sure. All right, let's keep going. There he is.
The mindset that prioritizes external achievements over deeper fulfillment in life. Most importantly, equating not needing a man with independence shifts away from the true meaning of gender equality and can even disrupt social harmony. This mindset is, in reality, extreme individualism and outright materialism disguised as progress. It can be seen as a toxic version of the independent woman ideal, one that has contributed to cases like Jan's. Another form of toxic positivity rhetoric is the princess syndrome narrative, often expressed as women should be beautiful and men should be the providers. This idea is misleadingly packaged as traditional virtue and widely promoted on social media. As a result, many single women possessively wait for a dominant CEO-type partner to appear, quite popular in romanticized Chinese dramas.
Logically, there should be plenty of wealthy CEOs fighting over me. Look at me, I was born naturally beautiful and I just don't get it. Someone as pretty as me, why have I waited 36 years and not a single CEO has shown up?
Some once stable families have
I'll give you the answer to that because you did not put yourself in position to be out in the market to be picked on. You were looked at, they made an assessment, look at what the possible outcomes dealing with you, and they made an executive decision and said, no, thank you. Now, if you gave it the booty, that would be A+, but not, no, thank you. All right, let's keep going.
Also being torn apart by these unrealistic fantasies of happiness. Miss Hu Peipei is a typical case. Her husband earned 10,000 yuan a month, enough for a comfortable life, but she became consumed by online toxic positivity narratives. Women should be princesses, deserve the best cosmetics.
So there's the problem. There's the culprit. It's the social media. They've been following too much social media. That's why they act so that they're bigger than what they are. I'm telling you, gentlemen, maybe it's wise that you don't deal with a woman that doesn't have a social media presence or is on social media all the time, because now her brain's being scrambled by false information, false perceptions of this nonsense. And an aged woman is a great representation of this nonsense. Shout out to China Observer. Let's go.
And designer bags and must have a handsome, wealthy CEO picking them up in a luxury car every day. She began to resent her current lifestyle.
I don't want to live in that rundown house anymore. I want to be like my friends, living in a nice apartment. I want to be stylish, sophisticated girl. I have high standards for myself, and I'm very picky.
With her husband, she became increasingly aggressive.
If the makeup I wear, the clothes on my back, and everything I eat and use don't come from you, then you're a complete failure as a man.
Even during mediation, her husband...
My dude, man, anytime your wife does that and she want the high life, the rich life, tell that bitch to go kick rocks. I'm going to divorce you. I'm going to file these papers. I'm going to send you walking papers or your pink slip and send you off your merry way with nothing. See how well you strive out in the world with nothing. All right.
Was still thinking about her well-being. I sought mediation because I want you to have a good life. But she responded coldly, "You're not my parents. I don't need you worrying about my marriage." In the end, Zhang Liwei could only sigh in resignation and say, "Marriage is supposed to be about sharing responsibilities equally, right? But everything that should have been shared between us, I ended up shouldering it alone, and I spoiled her into having princess syndrome." This story ultimately ended in tragedy. When the wealthy CEO Jiang Dong appeared, Hu Peipei believed she had finally found the ideal life she had seen glorified online. Eager to escape what she saw as an ordinary marriage, she left without hesitation. But reality hit hard. Jiang Dong soon revealed his true colors, toying with her feelings before heartlessly abandoning her. Filled with regret, Hu Peipei returned to the home she once despised, hoping to reclaim her ordinary life. But by then, Zhang Liwei had already given up on her. Today, Chinese social media...
I'm proud of you, John Wei. Proud of you. Don't take back. Don't do no reach back. If she walked out on her merit and said she could do better and want better, and she can't obtain that, oh well, sucks to be her. Don't come back to me. Go back to the streets. Because the streets are so beautiful, baby. The streets are calling me. I'm loving this. All right, let's keep going. Fair use.
Media and self-media loudly promote female independence while simultaneously portraying marrying into wealth as life's ultimate success. Yet those who follow these narratives often find themselves facing harsh realities, as one veteran journalist bluntly exposed.
Some wealthy elites, some second-generation rich guys change girlfriends every month. Many even date multiple women at the same time. The more attractive ones might get to stay around for a few extra days, but don't even talk about women's rights in front of them. You won't even have basic human rights, because when they've had their fun and tell you to leave, you have no choice but to go.
In a campus interview, a female student confidently said,
Dating doesn't come for free, right?
A sharp-witted respondent immediately pointed out the issue.
Why are you using the word free? Let me ask you, what kind of things in this world actually require payment? Products? What exactly are you considering yourself to be?
The most deceptive toxic positivity narrative is the one about life after divorce. A matchmaker in Shenzhen put it bluntly.
There's this toxic positivity myth spreading online. Divorced women are in high demand. Single mums from a second marriage are sought after. I've been a matchmaker for a long time and I can tell you the truth. In the real Shenzhen dating market, if you're divorced and have a son, no matter how beautiful you are, the moment men hear that, they don't even want to meet you. Why? Because men today aren't willing to raise someone else's child anymore, especially if it's a boy. Men now.
That's right. Men don't want to play no stepdad. Chinese men said, hell no, we will not go. If you have a bastard child by another man, you better go send him back to your you better go send back to your biological father. I ain't playing no stepdaddy. No stepdad here. No sir. No sir. Yeah. All right.
Nowadays aren't that naive.
Some independent social media platforms have even fabricated the myth of high-quality men's clubs to mislead their audience.
Divorced women can only marry high-quality men. They should never settle for ordinary men, because ordinary men care too much about whether you've been married before or if you've had children. Your past matters to them. But in our club, elite men earning 5 to 6 million yuan a year don't mind if a woman has been divorced. To them, marriage isn't just about having kids or physical attraction. Marriage is about fulfilling dreams.
In response, a commentator angrily refuted. How much did you drink to be talking this nonsense? There is no such club. Be sure you can treat yourself like a fool tossing coins into a wishing well, thinking you'll get whatever you want. And let me ask, are there actually any big shots here making 5 or 6 million a year? Step up and comment. Is what this person is saying even true? These toxic positivity narratives are seriously distorting society's views on love and marriage. Take the widely circulated 101 things a man should do for a woman as an example. It sets unrealistic standards for love, defining actions like buying late-night snacks at 3 a.m. and traveling to various destinations as measures of devotion. As a result, many otherwise stable relationships have fallen apart simply because they couldn't meet these exaggerated expectations. Misleading ideas such as only foolish women wait for a man to mature and older men are better than struggling young men further warp young people's values. Why has toxic positivity become so widespread? A veteran journalist analyzed.
Everyone knows that toxic positivity is harmful, but many women just love listening to it. Let me break it down for you. First, toxic positivity usually contains a bit of truth. If it were complete nonsense, no one would listen. For example, it's true that women face challenges when they leave their family homes, they enter a new family, take care of their in-laws, raise children, endure their husband's temper, and basically become servants, and so on and so on. When women hear this, they feel overwhelmed. They think, this is so true. and they immediately hit follow for that influencer. But in reality, these narratives exist just to attract more women. After all, who doesn't know that women are the biggest spenders?
According to the 2020
Yeah, you are the biggest spenders. That's why they put the social media influence on you, ladies, to condition you, to program you that you could have it all. And if your man is subpar and not giving you the life that you feel you deserve, you're going to divorce him. And the worst thing about you divorce him, you back in the streets on the what we like to call, and I got a soundbite for this. You're back on the what I like to call, and it's always never played out, the carousel. Yeah, on that carousel, riding it till the wheels drop off. That's the consequence of being out here in these streets, hoping to find something better. Ain't nothing better, baby. Stop dreaming. Let's go, fairies.
For Social Media and Youth Values Survey report released by a sociology research institute, 76.3% of women aged 18 to 45 consume toxic positivity content daily. Among them, 45.2% admitted that such content influenced their expectations of love and marriage, while 28.7% acknowledged having unrealistic fantasies.
And I want y'all to see that right there. That's deep. That's really deep. Like literally, that shows you why the Western world is what it is today. Because of that. And China is a great representation of this. Man, I'm not sure how their population is going to hold up the next 10, 20, or 30 years. All right, let's keep going, fairies.
As a result, statistics from the Civil Affairs Department showed that in the first quarter of 2024, the divorce rate among people under 30 increased by 15.6% year over year. Of these divorces, 42.3% were attributed to irreconcilable values.
A smart woman wouldn't use online standards to judge her own husband because she understands that he has his own struggles too. A good marriage takes effort from both partners. It's about working together. Listen to me. Don't be misled by toxic positivity. If you want a life, a good life, you have to build it step by step.
From a legal perspective, the most important factor in marriage is not material wealth, but character and sincerity. Shenzhen-based lawyer Chen Jianbin stated, "I have never seen a marriage built on genuine mutual love end in divorce. As a lawyer, I am even more determined not to let calculations take over my marriage. I spend my days outside fighting battles, but when I come home, all I want is a hot meal and a moment to clear my mind. You cook, I chop vegetables. You scrub the pot, I wash the dishes. A simple life, leaning on each other. Isn't that true happiness?" At the end of the day, the tragedy of Yan Dongping's case reflects the harsh realities of the CCP systemic design. If not for suppressed wages and the rigid household registration system, Sheng Zhubao could have brought his wife and child to live together in Beijing, keeping the family united. But in reality, his salary wasn't enough to support a family of three in Beijing, and the Hukou household registration system prevented their child from attending school there. This forced separation ultimately led to the breakdown of their marriage. It is also important to recognize that the China under the rule of the Chinese Communist Party has turned a blind eye to two dominant forms of toxic positivity in the online discourse on love and marriage. One promotes female independence while denying the value of partnership between men and women, fueling social division. The other glorifies materialism, encouraging a mindset of entitlement and discouraging hard work. Yet the authorities have deliberately allowed these harmful narratives to spread unchecked. This is in fact a carefully designed social control strategy. By fostering individualism and eroding social trust, the government makes the population more fragmented and easier to manage. By fueling gender conflicts, it diverts attention away from deeper societal issues. The glorification of entitlement and materialism weakens the moral foundation and cohesion of society, making people more susceptible to being driven by material desires. A divided and disjointed society ultimately serves to reinforce the existing power structure. Moreover, on social media, these topics often spark heated debates, consuming vast amounts of public discourse. Meanwhile, critical discussions on livelihood issues and systemic reforms are drowned out. This tactic of burying real issues in noise is precisely what the authorities find most convenient.
All right, guys, that's another one. That reveals the divorce rates in China. I'm not sure if you guys have any questions. If you have any questions, put it in the chat room. If the only way you could get into the chat room, you guys subscribe to the channel, or you could hit a super chat. Anything above or around 20 or above, you'll get the new donation tab. So let's see what else is on here. Oh, here's one video about the leftover women, and this one was very intriguing. Let's watch this. Fairies.
But 99% of them won't stay beautiful for long. A former class. Some beauties marry poor men for love or other reasons. But 99% of them won't stay beautiful for long. A former classmate of mine was our class flower, big eyes, striking looks. But her parents divorced young, leaving her unsupervised. She dropped out, dated a deadbeat, and now has 2 kids. Her social media is full of posts like, "You get what you settle for. Life is so hard." Her looks faded, dull skin, brittle hair from stress, childcare, and scraping by. Beauty needs money and effort to maintain. So, if you're pretty, aim for a wealthy partner. Harsh but true. Dear aunties, need a daughter-in-law? My mom's desperate. Let me introduce. Eldest sister, 35 years old. Second sister, 33 years old. Me, 30 years old. Special offer. No bride price required. We'll even throw in 2 free cured meat slabs. Let me say it again. Girls over 30, wake up. Stop expecting.
Yeah, man, she going to lower her price. Matter of fact, I would tell most Chinese women in China, respectfully, of course, lower your standards. If you're over 25, hell, pushing 30, lower your standards. The only woman that can have high standards is usually what's the legal age in China. Wherever legal age up to 23, maybe push 24. But besides that, anything beyond that, you're going to lower your standards. Including you, black woman. Lower your standards so you reach that point in life. All right, let's keep going. Fairies.
Men to drool over you, chase you like you're the only one in the world, or swear they can't live without you. Seriously, get real. You're not some goddess living in a fairy tale. Stop acting all high and mighty. Who are you trying to impress? If a guy asks you out and you don't dislike him, just go. Stop waiting for some man to shower you with money, luxury gifts, or sweet talk to win you over. Why would he? Younger girls are flooding the dating scene. What exactly do you still have to offer? Most men are willing to invest time and money in a woman they see value in. If you've got nothing, I don't know what you're even angry about. And let's be real, top-tier men make up only 20% of the market. They're already swarmed by young, pretty girls. Do you really think you stand a chance? To all single women in their 30s who still want to get married, start adjusting your attitude now. Work on improving yourself realistically instead of drowning in the fantasy world capitalism sold you. Otherwise, you'll only hurt yourself in the end. And to those moms secretly messaging me to find partners for your daughters, stop wasting my time. Do they even know you're doing this? You think 11,000 renminbi for a bride price is too much? Get out of here. Yesterday, I set up a meeting between a male and female member. Everything went well until they discussed the bride price. Then it blew up. The woman works as a supermarket cashier, earns little, and has a small social circle. She came to me hoping to find someone taller than her. She's 1.56 m, so her future kids wouldn't be too short. Just someone hardworking, not lazy. I matched her with a factory worker. She was happy with him, until the bride price came up. She said her parents insisted on 11,000 renminbi, a symbolic 1 in 10,000 gesture, hoping it'd show the man would cherish her. But the guy outright refused. I don't get it. It's not like she asked for hundreds of thousands or his life savings. Guys, do you think 11,000 is too much? Would you pay?
Well, let's check. Let's check. That's a good question. That's an excellent question. Is 11K too much? I'm going to look it up now. Let me think. How am I going to do this? All right, this is what I'm going to do. Let me search and find my conversion. Don't mind me, guys. I'm trying to find my conversion here. I want to see if that is a lot of money. Where the hell is it? All right. I'm trying to find it, guys. All right. Is this it? Living. In Chinese. All right, let's see if I'm right about this. Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't seem bad. It said it's roughly $1,540 in United States dollars. So I don't know if that seems reasonable.
High value. Intelligent women objectively analyze a man's character, ability, and family background. Then they take initiative to lock down a quality partner and enjoy life. Only naive women wait around to be chased. Those with no ability, wisdom, or discernment, but pretend to be high value, end up picking from the swarm of flies buzzing around them, usually the pushiest, most aggressive men. What they don't realize, the men who chase them only want their bodies or money. Good men, especially high-value ones, have self-respect and rarely pursue aggressively. But trash men, they'll do anything to get what they want. Many foolish women fall for it because they love the attention. Look how popular I am. But trash men will dump them after a few years when they're older. These women refuse to learn, reflect, or change. That's why so many end up left over. Being the
Okay, yeah, it is right. I checked on both ends, so it looks like it's right. 11,000 in their currency up to ours converted in our currency is roughly 1,500. I don't think that's a lot. I mean, it depends on what the man's looking for, but maybe it might be too much for a Chinese man in China, maybe. But let's keep going.
accomplished isn't enough if your mindset is broken. In lower-class dating, men chase women. In upper-class dating, women chase men. Got it? If you have a quality man around but don't know how to connect, join my fan group. I'll send you a free ebook on men's emotional needs. Study it. It'll help. Most divorced women will divorce again.
Why?
Because they'll never admit fault. It's always, I was blind to marry you, blaming the man entirely. Divorce is never one-sided, but these women see only the man's mistakes and delude themselves into thinking they'll upgrade next time. Observe them, and you'll notice one trait: selfishness. They only care about their own feelings and interests, evade responsibility, and never self-reflect. So even if they remarry, it's the same disaster: calculating, unwilling to struggle together but demanding their partner's sacrifices, offering nothing equal in return, throwing tantrums, especially with stepkids. Many serial divorcees eye only the man's wallet or assets, scheming how much they can grab next time. Some even treat divorce like a get-rich-quick scheme, never learning to nurture a marriage. They think divorce is a fresh start, not realizing each one drains their happiness. Greed will backfire. Just wait and see. Do you even know what a bride price really is? Let's clarify. Historically, Pingli, betrothal gifts, symbolized respect and marital commitment. The groom's family brought gifts to formally invite the bride as their household's mistress, a dignified process with lavish weddings. Siley, bride price, however, was a transactional fee.
You know what? I don't knock the men today that go out and travel to China to go, find these unicorn women that will be so beautiful and demurring that they'll submit to their will. I'm not the guys, but really, I think a lot of us should really watch more content that's going outside the United States to really see, is it really better dealing with certain women outside America, like logically? And I mean, not mean like a bad way, but a good way in the long run, personally. I mean, that's just my thinking, but who knows? All right, let's keep going. Various.
Paid to parents, essentially buying the daughter. No ceremony, no status, just slightly above a maid. Real tradition? Pingli shows sincerity. The dowry is the bride's leverage. Want respect in your marital home? The dowry is non-negotiable. So stop yelling tradition to justify sky-high bride prices, especially second marriages demanding 300,000 to 400,000 renminbi. Are you marrying off a daughter or selling her? Why are most men hesitant to date women over 30? 3 key reasons. 1. Fertility concerns. For 99% of men, marriage is about having children. If you're 30 and start dating, it'll take at least a year to settle into the relationship. By the time you're ready for kids, you'll be 32 plus. At that age, pregnancy risks rise, career sacrifices become harder, and marital adjustments are tougher. 2. The why are you still single? Stigma. If you're unmarried past 30, people assume something's wrong. Too picky? Emotional baggage? Family issues? This doubt exists for both genders. Even women hesitate with older single men. 3. Declining looks and increasing baggage. Maintaining beauty after 30 requires more money and effort. Plus, life experience makes you less carefree than a 20-something. Given the choice, most men prefer younger, simpler women.
And not only that, you're least demanding. I mean, you appreciate certain things. That's why a lot of men that, like I said, if they really got their stuff in order and they really doing very well, yeah, they're gonna go with younger. Unless you're gonna be that woman that's gonna play ball, and you got to share. Let's be honest. And most men that's really doing well in China, from what I'm hearing, yeah, they're gonna have to pick a lid. They're gonna have multiple women all day. They're gonna be going for you, ladies. They're gonna make you go run for you. They're gonna be clapping some cheeks. They're gonna be blowing some backs. They're gonna be busting some nuts. And God knows, let's hope they no baby involved. And out, face.
Born in 1992, 34 and still single? Let's be real. At this age, finding an ideal partner is nearly impossible. You either lower your standards or accept lifelong singlehood. If you lack real achievements, no man will support you unconditionally. Money and power in your own hands are the only guarantees. Value exchange governs all relationships, not just romance.
All right. I guess that's it for that one. I know you guys either feeling this or not feeling it. You will let me know in the comment section of this one. Now for the final video. And this one right here I came across by Shin. I guess she's a teacher, maybe. She's going to chime in about the types of women for all these men that want to know, and this could apply to all races of men, of the 3 or the 7 or multiple types of Chinese women you should avoid at all costs. Pay attention, listen carefully. Fair use. Shin is going to explain in detail. Let's go.
Comment if you are interested. Some viewers asked me to do more videos about interracial relationships. So in this video, I will talk about what kind of Chinese women you should avoid dating.
Yes.
Some of these tips I'm sharing actually applies to everyone, not just Chinese women. At the end of the video, I will talk about how do you know that person is right for you. Look, we are all influenced by stereotypes. I know some Western men would assume Chinese women are sweet, family-oriented, and maybe submissive. When men date women, they tend to focus on the more surface-level stuff, such as, what does she look like? What does she do for a living? But they often miss the bigger picture, personality, values, views on marriage, and whether someone is actually a supportive, reliable partner. Divorce rates in China have soared in recent years. A lot of young people don't even want to date. Now, here are some types you should watch out. Firstly, women who have low psychological maturity. As I mentioned in the previous video, Chinese psychologist Wu Zhihong said, many mainland Chinese people tend to have low psychological maturity. They can't control their emotions, can't manage stress, and they are oftentimes unreasonable. Chinese people are usually loud, and out-of-control emotions and loudness is a scary, scary combo. Lack of self-awareness, have difficulty recognizing their own flaws, emotions, or how their actions affect others. Like my mom, she constantly upset people, yet when confronted, she never admitted her faults. Instead, she repeated the same behavior over and over, always blaming others for everything. I met a lot of Chinese people like that. It's a pain dealing with them. They are very insecure, oftentimes. I like to call it emotionally fragile. Dealing with these people is like walking on eggshells. Their poor communication skills make it worse. If you want a healthy relationship, stay away from them at all costs. Don't assume that a high level of education guarantees emotional maturity. While the likelihood might be higher.
Did y'all get that? Did y'all get that? If you are in a healthy state of mind, and let's say you were in relationships that were healthy, you try to avoid those type of relationships at all costs if you can. And these are guides by Shin on who you should watch out for if you're dealing with Chinese women in particular. Now, most men nowadays, they will fight me if they made this far in this video, and I understand. But I'm only the person that's just sharing the content. I don't date Asian women. But if I was going to waste time doing so, I should have a clear understanding what to watch out for. I should be like any person, be oiled and prepared for anything. Do you guys agree? All right, let's go. Listen more. Various.
Schools don't offer classes in psychological growth. In January 2024, the news of a Google engineer, Chen Liren, brutally beating his wife, Yu Xuanyi, to death in their house in California had shocked Chinese society. Both Chen Liren and the victim, Yu Xuanyi, were top students at Tsinghua University. They both pursued advanced studies at University of California, San Diego, and later joined Google with six-figure annual salaries. Tsinghua University is like MIT in the US, but China's population is 4 times that of the United States. So the people who can get into Tsinghua University are incredibly intelligent and hardworking. So a high level of education doesn't make you psychologically mature. Secondly, women whose vanity is never satisfied. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how Chinese people love luxury brand. A lot of Chinese middle-class women like to carry Louis Vuitton, Dior, Chanel bag. A lot of Westerners are like, $2,000 for a bag? Why buy this ridiculously overpriced bag if you are commuting on the dirty subway to work? Chinese people would tell you, a luxury handbag is not just a bag to carry things. They are status symbols. They are signifying social status, success, prosperity. Carrying a luxury bag is like wearing your bank account on your sleeve. Walking down the street, getting those looks like, yeah, I made it, and you didn't. It's the game of keeping up with Jones, except this time it's keeping up with Zhao's. Every time I told my parents that we were coming back to China for a visit, they were like, great, but go shopping first. Don't come back to embarrass us with your cheap clothes. Thirdly, the CEO wife. Some women run the house like a dictatorship. Every decision gonna go through her like she's the CEO of marriage. What are we eating? What are we wearing? And what are we thinking? She has the final say on everything. Like my dad never had the freedom to sing the songs he loved in his own home. After he retired, he loved singing Chinese folk songs after dinner. But my mom yelled at him, "Shut up, I'm sick of these songs." So my dad just shook his head and went silent. To me, that was an insufferable quality. But I don't have a say in my parents' marriage. If I don't like the songs my husband is singing, I can wear headphones. So he can sing whatever he likes, and I don't have to hear it. Everyone is happy. Very simple solution. My cousin is very controlling. She demands that her husband wear the clothes she likes. If he wears the color of the socks she doesn't like, he must change it. If that doesn't feel like dictatorship, I don't know what it is. So stay away from this type of women, not just Chinese women. You don't want to be the guy who is 40 years old and standing in the Macy's dressing room waiting for your wife's permission to buy a pair of pants. You know the worst part? It's not even about you. It's about her image. If you don't look good in public, it makes her look bad. Like you would embarrass me if you wear this green jacket. Even though he's a fully grown. He's like this before you met him. I know some Chinese couples are like that. They don't know each other's insufferable qualities before they got married. They stay together for the sake of kids.
Yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to stay together for the kids. But what has happened now, a lot of Western and Eastern women have fallen under the traps of the propaganda of commercialization of what life should be. And hence, the delusional, I would say delusional television. I mean, that's the best way to call it. I call it the delusional images, delusional streams of messages, subliminal messages that you should have a better life. You should be here. You should not be down here. All that destroys a lot of marriages in regards to women, Chinese women, that divorce at a higher rate than here in America. 90%. That's just perfection at its worst. All right, let's keep going. Very serious. And guys, hit the like button, like the stream.
Fourthly, the victim. Those women are never happy. They're constantly playing the victim. I have an aunt who is never happy. One time, she tried a new restaurant, didn't like the food, and dramatically said, this meal ruined my day. Why am I so unlucky? And when it comes to her daughter, she's always on her case about marriage and kids. She will yell at her, all my friends have grandchildren, but not me. How did I end up with such an ungrateful daughter? You know, every time I saw her husband, he looked miserable. My aunt is happy only when she's the center of attention and sees other people facing misfortune, making her feel lucky and fortunate by comparison. In a relationship or marriage, the biggest problem isn't argument, it's avoiding conflict and suppressing emotions. A lot of Chinese people are very indirect. This is something always frustrates me. They don't say what they mean. For example, in my early 20s, I had a crush on a Chinese guy. I asked him out for dinner. After reading the menu, I was like, what would you like to eat? He said, anything's fine. This response is so common among Chinese. My husband is the same. The first few years of our marriage, I asked him what did he want for dinner. He said anything is fine. But when I didn't serve him meat, he complained, why there is no meat for dinner? I was like, you said anything is fine. You didn't say you want meat. Now you complain about it? Dealing with Chinese often involves mind games. I have to guess what they really mean. It's exhausting. Now let's talk about what kind of man or woman is right for you. Not just Chinese. Ask yourself these important questions. How do you feel when you are with them? Can you laugh freely and feel relaxed? Do you feel energized and joyful? Can you talk freely and communicate effortlessly? Do you share the same values? Do they make you feel good about yourself? Do they inspire and bring out the best in you? Hey, I'm Shan Shan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
All right. I hope this is helpful, guys. There you have it. And I would say a quick summary of all this is to say that has this new law that's been implemented now since past either February, most likely, and really we didn't know it's been talked about for the last few days. Chinese and the Chinese government in general want to save and preserve their population. And the way they're going to accomplish that, these women got to play ball. And these women cannot sit there constantly feel unhappy or feel that nothing is wrong and that they're not the problem and that always the man's fault that they had to end the marriage, end the relationship, hell, and break up their homes and family because of small things. That will not sustain the Chinese population or the Chinese economy with that direction. It won't. Now, I was going to share this one. Now, actually, I'll share this on my Discord. There's a link about the laws in China by family law regulations of China from 2025. I think I'll put this in the Discord service. You gotta be a Discord to find out this. So I'm writing up my book on PDF format. So let me do this right now because I think I'm past the time now on the stream. So I'm gonna let y'all have it. You go in Discord, you find the actual article itself, or not article, but the laws itself. Let me see. Post it. All right. It'll be articles of the show. If you're not finding my Discord, you won't get access to that. So there you go. I posted there. Family laws and regulation reports of 2025 China. All right, that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know I did. Look forward to hearing y'all in the comment section of this one. Your takes on all the videos. The links to follow me are in the description below. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. You can add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Ray on Facebook. You could join my Discord service as well. You could also how can I say, follow me on Rumble, CRain23 on Rumble. Okay, and also what else? Oh, and join my become a member of the Chaos Rain Show as well. Membership has perks, like always. And I'm just looking. Oh, sorry, I had my thing muted. I apologize. Thank y'all for watching. Links to follow me are below. You can follow me at Twitter at ChaosRain7. You can add me a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain. Also, you could join my Discord servers, follow me on Rumble CRain23, and become a member. In conclusion to all this, because I know it was silent, I apologize. That the laws are designed to keep the population of China going. Once you remove the laws and you put it and made it even for men, women are going to act correctly. There's a link to an actual article of the laws, the new laws in China, that you must check out on my Discord service. So if you're not a follower of Discord, you'll find the link in the description in all my videos. Join my Discord to follow this and find this link, especially. I'm not going to read it, but it goes detail about the new laws in China. At the end of the day, China has preserved their population. And the way you're going to do that you got to let the men still participate in the society. And you can't do that if these women are constantly divorced at a 90% rate. Can't happen. Won't happen. All right, guys. Till next time. Let it chaos reign.
Man, fuck all you hoes.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Must reign